Everybody, so let us start our lecture this morning. So I'm in relaxed mode. I think we are on the halfway of our course. So let us see our schedule. Quickly see our schedule. So according to our schedule, this week we are finishing methods, and our test 2 will be on coming Friday. 10th, 11th, okay? So 10th and 11th, which one is? Your test will be on 11th, right? Friday, okay? So please come on time, okay? And it will be maybe 45 minutes, and you will have 4 or 5 questions. We are halfway of this course. So by this week, we are finishing methods. I have finished, and today I want to review from top to bottom again. And after that, next week we will start class and object. It has 3 weeks, but we will hopefully I will spend 2 weeks for class and objects, so that I can 1 week my hand to discuss searching and sorting algorithm in more detail. Okay. So you will be introduced with object-oriented programming from next week. That will be a new, real, something interesting. You will know how to define and how to make our own type. For instance, we use integer type. Integer type it takes only integer value. Okay. A variable of integer type cannot take other than string, other than integer type. We will learn how to create our own type with the combination of some existing data types. For instance, we will declare a type student. Student have an ID as a name, weight, date of birth, department, grade points, a lot of information. Combination, we will type it, create. We will make our own type. Okay. So that will be real interesting. So, okay, sorry. I want to mention that you will learn something really new and object-oriented programming. So the withdrawal date will be November 9th. Okay. If you know anyone or any of your friends that if you thinking to withdraw, please talk to us. Let us see if we can do something for you. Or not to withdraw from this course. By the way, if you downloaded methods, these slides a few weeks back, please delete your old stuffs and download the new copies, because there are some updates. Okay, anyone has any question from method chapter? We almost finished almost everything, but we have a few slides left. At the end, we will discuss today, but anyone has any question? Okay, if you do not have any question, so then let us think. Let us go ahead, let us review, and if you have any question, then I will discuss that. Okay, so we understand that a method is a logical collection, logical grouping of some statements. So we write a method in order to reuse our code. Define a method one time and we reuse it again and again. What are the benefits of using method? Reusability, easy to work on higher level abstraction. For instance, we declare a method. For instance, sum. If you just know the signature of the method, then we can this method. For instance, the print method, write method, that is existing method, is an existing method. within the library, we can use that. But in this chapter, we mainly discuss how to create our own, define our own method. Create our own method, our program will be concise and it is easy to maintain. And a method can have one line of code or have thousands lines of code. So we have started with only one or few lines of code. We understand the basic, then you will be able to write your any method you need. We can call one method within another method. By the way, a method in object-oriented concept, it is called a method. I mainly teach object-oriented programming. Sorry, I frequently use the term method, but in procedure-oriented programming language, it's called function. Function or procedure or behavior or something, or a module, you may hear this name. But same thing, what it does, just concise our program. Okay. Why do we use a function or method? Just to concise our code and reuse our code. Okay, so instead of writing our codes again and again, we can define this course as a method, and we can see that these are block of the statement. So you can create a method. Once you need to use same code again and again, or either same purpose or similar purpose. For instance, if you declare a method to add two numbers, any two numbers you can do, or maybe we will see that we can have multiple methods with similar structure. For instance, to add two numbers or two strings or two integer numbers to numeric numbers. So a method has a body and a header line. The header line is sometimes called signature line. It states what will be the method name, method data type, or its accessibility, and if it has any argument, it will declare. And the rest of the line will be method body. If the method body is even one line, we need to enclose this within opening and closing braces. Some languages like Python do not use braces, they use indentation. Whatever you use indentation or brace, so you have to close your body. So as we discussed, this is the top line, is called signature line. It will say, so actually here it has two things. It has method signature or declaration, as well as it has its body together. In some languages, it allows us to declare. In some cases, it will allow us to declare like a method like this. This is called declaration. And when you declare this method, that's telling that I will be declaring or making a method named sum that will be, let us try come this way, starting from method's name. I will be having a method sum, and its return type will be integer, and that will have static method, static modifier, and this is public. This public means is global, accessible by anywhere. And static means in order to call this method, we do not need to use any object. We can call this method by its name directly. And we are saying that this method will take two arguments, integer type arguments. It is not a matter what argument I name. Okay, it's matter what type of argument are these. So if the type must be independently declared for each of the arguments. Whatever my name, argument name I give, so this works almost like local variable type. So this accessibility of this variables will be within the body. This is body start and this ends, and within this body it will have this variable name. So this is this first argument, and this is second argument. So by telling that when I want to call this method, I must provide two integer type values. So by passing this one as argument, by passing arguments, what we do, we communicate data from one method to another method. For instance, so in general, who is the this method? Someone has to call this method in order to be executing this method. So a method can call itself. In that case, it is called a recursive method. Discussing recursive method in this course. A method can call itself or another method. For instance, main method can call this method. Okay. So if the method body, even in one line, we need to enclose it. Okay. So the top line is called the method signature, and the other thing, this is the signature line, and this is the okay. So but if make signature line independently, differently, then we need to put semicolon. But if we put header line, signature line, and body together, then we do not need to. So a function can pretty another almost all types. If a function does not return a value, then the return type will be void. And if a function does not have void type, then it can have a return statement. The return statement just will tell return from this function. And sometimes a return statement is ended with a return value. The return value must be consistent with this return type. For instance, we discussed that in general, if we want to return an average may be an integer number, or it may be a decimal number, fractional number, right? If we make average 3 and 5, it will be an even number, 8 divided by 2. But if you want to make average of 3 and 2, then we will have float numbers. So in this case, average should be float or double. It can be integer. Okay. Letter grade. But one thing, an average should not be a string type or a void type. Okay. Letter grade should be character if it is only one character. But if we say letter grade in sometimes in two characters, more than one character, A plus, B plus, A minus, B minus, then we must make it a string. By the way, C# make its S is in lowercase and uppercase both, but in Java we use only S is in uppercase. And in Python there is a type, it is called st. Instead of string, we write just str. String. Okay, for get GPA we need double or float type, something like this. Discuss this. The method name can be and have any name, but it must not be name of a keyword. And we generally like to use name like this convention. This is called camel case. The first letter of the first word started with lowercase, then every consequent number letter words first name start with uppercase. This is an example so that it is easy to read. Okay, the scope of a variable. The scope of a variable is an important thing. Sometimes, if it is a local variable, there are three kinds of variables we discussed so far. One variable, if a variable is declared above the method's header line, that is called global variable. If a method is declared within the function, then it is called local variable. And if a variable is declared within the parentheses of the function header line, then that is called parameters or argument. So in this case, data, integer data, this is parameter. These are parameters num1 and num2. And this method does not take any parameter. This method does not take any parameter. This method takes a parameter type. A function can take any type, any valid type as per argument. It can be a primitive data type or an object, a class type, or it can be an array type. We will discuss that later. So we use parameter to pass data from one method to another method. Okay, so let us give attention to this slide, what it is saying. For instance, here it is saying, for instance, we want to, this is a declaration of our average method. Average method, it returns a double type value and it takes two integer type argument. And what it returns is whatever value these are provided here. So it will just, since two values, in order to return average, we'll divide it by 2. If there are 3 values, then we will divide it by 3. So here, this method, when we call this method, for instance, here is number equal to 5, num equal to 5, num2 equal to 7, num3 equal to 4. So whatever will do, this result will be, so num1 plus num2 divided by 2. One important thing that we need to remember, that if a variable function returns a value, okay, then that function can be used like a value of that type. For instance, a result is an integer type, a double type, right? Usually what we are used to, we can put a value for the result. We need a value for this result, a double type, like a decimal type value. So how we are providing this value? Not directly, but as the return value of this method. So this method will return a value. That value we are assigning for result 1. What value this line will be assigning for result 1? It will be assigning 5 plus 7 divided by 12 divided by 2, 6. So my result will be 6. And here my result, here my result 2 will be average of num3 and num1. Num3 is 4 plus num1 is 5. 4 plus 5, 9 divided by 2, 4.5. So result 2 will be 4.5. Result 1 will be 6. Okay, so what our program will do when we run this program, we look for, so instead here, for instance, initially we have num1, num2, and num3 values, right? We assign these values, and then these are the variables we have in memory. Num1, num2, and result 1 and result 2. So we know that we already provided values for num1 and num3. We want to calculate the values for result 1 and result 2 with respect to this num1, num2, and num3 values. So here result 1, so you are familiar with, right? The first value will be provided for the x, first argument x, and second value will be provided for the second argument y. When the function gets its value, then it becomes active. So we can say that it is ready to work. At this point, this method will return 6. Then result 1, this value will be passed to result 1. Then result 1 will be 6.0. Why it is 6.0, not 6? Yes. So although it is returning a 6, value is 6 over here, but since return type is double, so it is making 6.0. It's converting integer to a double number. So we are getting result equal to 6.0. So in your test, be careful about data type. The function returns a value, be careful about data type. For instance, do not be misled. For instance, here, this method will be returning. This method will be returning 6.0, not 6. Although it's logically same, 6 and 6.0 is same, right? For this perspective, if you are asked this type of question, that means we want to specifically know that you understand the return type of a method. Result 1, we got 6.0, and then similarly, when it comes to this line, it will refresh, it will calculate, it will call the average method again as a fresh copy. So then what will be passed again here? It will forget about the previous line. That means the result of the previous line will be stored, but it will be working for this line. So here for num3 will be provided 4 and will be provided 5. So this time it is easy to understand. For instance, remember that if this method returns an integer value, then it will be 4.5. This method is returning a double type value, right? There is a mistake, sorry. Oh, sorry. Is 4.0? 4 and 5, 9. 9 divided by 2. So not integer division. If there is a mistake, it will be 4.5. It is not integer division. It is double division. So returning value will be 4.5. Sorry, found a mistake. So it will be 4.5. That's a good thing. So where do we call this method? We call this method within main method. So, but if we know the print method, within the print method, and use call another method, you can print a value or call another method that returns a value. For instance, maybe I show it with an example. For instance, within print method. By the way, how do I know that this is a method? Yes, by looking a pair of parentheses. This is a method, right? So here, num1, num2, num3, these are variables, so we can print directly these values of these variables by print method, or we can just call another method. For instance, if we have a sum method that returns a value, so like print num. This method is returning num value. Okay, but I'm looking for something else. This is the simplified one. Okay, so this is the problem that I asked everybody to practice. How many of you did have a chance to practice this? Yeah. Okay, let us go in reverse order. How many? Is there anyone that think that you do not understand anything from here? How to start it up? Okay, spend a minute. Read the statement, problem statement. So what do we need to do? We need to find the sum of integers from 1 to 10, or from 20 to from 30 to 20 to 30, or from 35 to 45. We can do this without a method, right? We can solve this problem without a method. But if we solve this problem, we want to solve this problem by writing a function, so that we declare our function one time and we can reuse the anytime to add two numbers within a range. So that instead of writing our code like, for instance, this. For instance, this is the code to add two numbers from 1 to 10. It is starting using a for loop, starting from 1, and it is going back to until 10. By the way, this is a pseudocode format, so there is no semicolon. There is no semicolon, but in your actual programming language, you need to put semicolon. Doing here, it will sum up from 1 to 10. And similar code we have to write if you want to sum up from 20 to 30. And similar code you have to write if you want to sum up 35 to 45. So instead of writing this similar code again and again, we want to make a method that we can use any two values within valid range. So instead, what we want to do, instead we can write this code, we can put these are the code to sum up two numbers in pseudocode form. We want to declare this as a method named sum, then we can call sum with any two arguments. So like if we call this sum with arguments 1 to 10, then it will sum up from 1 to 10. If we call this method with arguments 20 to 30, then it will 20 to 30. Then our program will be concise and logical and better. For instance, if I want to execute this code in Java, this will be the code. This is our method. This is our method named sum, and we are calling this sum. By the way, one thing that you need to remember, everybody pay attention, please. If you want to use a variable to hold sum of some variables, if you want to use a variable to store summation of few variables, then you should declare a variable named sum, right? In order to do that, you must assign the initial value as 0. Remember this. Okay, but if you want to use a variable to store or hold the multiplication of some values, then you must assign those values by 1, by number 1. Otherwise, it will not work. Many students, initially novice students, they do. You understand? Okay, for instance, in this program, if we wanted to multiply numbers from num1 to num2, instead of making summation, if we want to multiply, then we need to change the sign over here, right? Instead of positive plus 2 multiplication, and then we must need to multiply, put this initial value as 1. Remember this. And also in that situation for multiplication, this variable should name accordingly. We should name, put multiplication variable. So you understand why do we initially put sum equal to 0? Otherwise, it may give you garbage result, unexpected result. Okay. Many people, they do mistake when they find multiplication. They still put this initial value with 0 or non-assigned, then result does not come accordingly. Everybody understand what I'm going to tell? For multiplication, for summation, you need to assign this value as 0, and for multiplication, you need to assign it to number 1. Okay, and this is the another problem that please practice this program today. Previous program and this program to determine the largest number of two numbers. For instance, if you are given two numbers I and j, if I is greater than j, then it will return, or max value will be I. If I equal to j, then you will return value will be either I or j, or I is fine. And if I is less than j, then our max value will be j. Okay, maybe I will spend just 5 minutes for this. It's simple. So far, you should understand this. Give me attention for 5 minutes, please. Okay, so runtime stack. What is called a stack? At this point, you are not familiar with stack. A stack is a memory location. Memory has special space. In this room has some special space. What is it? This is the podium, right? This is the front desk. Those are the last desk. So we call this podium. The podium on the front place of a room. Okay, so stack is kind of memory place of a memory RAM, where when we call a function, the values, return values, functions arguments, and function local values are stored on stack. Okay, so the runtime stack keeps track of active or currently running methods. Whatever methods are currently running, stack keeps record. Yeah. Okay, and the order of the methods call, which method is called first, which method will be calling next, which method will be calling next. Okay. And the top of the stack represent the currently running or active method in the program. The bottom represent the main method often of the program. So when a method finish, it removes from a stack. Okay, so you will understand this more in detail if you understand recursion method. But for instance, let us see a picture of like this. For instance, the main method, if main method is invoked, for instance, in my main method, we have variable for I and j, I equal to 5 and j equal to 2, and we have a values in variable, another variable. We want to determine k as the max of these two. So in the second call, what we will do by stack, it will initially store this value, first value I, second value j. In stack is one side is closed. Stack is one side is closed. When we stack some plates at home, when you wash some plates and keep one above, right? But when we wash the first plate, that we usually keep it all the way next, all the way bottom. We want to use a plate to eat something, right? We use the plate that is on the front, on the top. It comes last, right? The stack is a last in, first out. LIFO, it is called LIFO, last in, first out. Which one you just wash right now? A moment ago, you use that one on the top. It's easy. In general, we do. So it's kind of that way. So the variable I is going to on the bottom, then j is coming on the second, and whatever it is assigning for this value. You see that just in this picture. Look at the how stack grows and how it sinks. When we wash some plate and put one above another, our stack of our plate grows. When we use a plate, our stack of plate sinks, right? Decreases, right? So then when we finish up all of our plates, then our plate stack is gone. So this is why when you wash one plate and put one above another, our stack grows. So what I'm going to see that when it wants to use how, look at the array please. The top one will go to the top, and the later one will go to the later one. Okay, and see that how it is different, how it is, and when stack is empty, there is nothing. Maybe to focus and think for a few minutes to understand the stack operation. So in detail, you will learn in detail about stack in your next course, CSE1322. Or if you personally want to understand recursion is a process when a method calls itself, then you will be more familiar with this. At this point, we don't want to spend more time because it is out of our syllabus. And the last thing that we have left is method overloading. I will show you in our next lecture how to overload method. Actually, that is a concept of object-oriented programming, but maybe we can try with a Java program or C++ C# program. That way, I will demo with our next lecture. But in your next lecture, please, I already sent out a study guide. Okay, so please follow the study guide and start reading by following, and all of the lectures that from the beginning to this week will be in your test. And if you have a question for your test, upcoming test, please bring your question on next class on Wednesday. Okay, everybody, very good. Good day. Thank you so much. Anyone has any question? Thank you so much.